Welcome to the Milk and Honey with Lemon podcast. I'm your host, Lemon Price, creator of the Holy Girl Habits, wife and mama, and certified life and leadership coach who turned away from corporate life to embrace kingdom leadership. This podcast is for Christian women feeling the weight of their divine callings, grappling with doubts of their leadership abilities, and searching tirelessly for biblically grounded guidance who want to step confidently into their roles as radiant kingdom leaders. Inside, we're going to traverse from those feelings of uncertainty and overwhelming searches, moving toward firm biblical leadership, empowering you to steward your gifts, and showing you that you indeed have what it takes. So, sister, grab your favorite cup of coffee or tea, and let's dive in together. Welcome back to the Milk and Honey podcast. I'm your host, Lemon Price, and I am so excited to be here today for another episode in our summer series. I can't believe how fast the summer is going, y'all. So today I really want to talk about mentorship and how do we really empower the next generation. I want to talk about biblical leadership because I think biblical leadership and mentorship and empowering the next generation is actually really counterintuitive to the way that the world does leadership. I actually just trained on this in my 16-week biblical leadership class, which I have another one coming up in August and September. I'm very excited about it. So if you want info on that, just get in touch with me or click one of the links below to come and learn how you could take part in that because it's really fun. And so something I said when I was teaching was we were talking about who's on your hip, who is coming to replace you. And the world makes that sound very scary, right? They make it seem terrifying to be replaced. But here's the thing. I want to be replaced. I want the next generation to come in and do it better than I did because they've learned from my mistakes and I've taught them along the way. And so they get to come in and do things bigger and better than I ever could. As followers of Christ, we are called to be his ambassadors in every area of our life, including our leadership, right? Mentorship, guided by biblical principles, actually gets to shape our future leaders into being warriors for Christ. It allows us to be leaders who reflect God's love and grace to the world. And so what I really love, I'm going to read you Proverbs 27:17. It says, as iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. Mentoring allows us to come alongside aspiring leaders, sharpen their skills, and help them discover their God-given potential. I know I've had some incredible mentors. I've had some not so incredible mentors, and I've learned something from every single one of them, but specifically Michelle Schaefer. She has been an incredible mentor to me over the last year. She's who I go to with every new thing in my life. She's helped shape my leadership skills exponentially. And not just my leadership skills though, right? But my character and really helping me deepen my relationship with the Lord and figure out what my purpose and passion is. Her guidance and wisdom and prayers, they have made a significant difference in my journey. And I will be forever indebted to her. I'm very grateful for what Michelle has done. Guys, go all the way back to like episode 5 or 6. Michelle was on just talking about leadership development, and she's incredible at it. And so you might be wondering, like, how do I find a mentor or become an effective mentor? First of all, the Word of God is the ultimate mentor. But I want you to find mentors who excel in their field, but also embody Christ-like characteristics. People who are anchored in their faith and they have integrity and they demonstrate humility in their leadership. Their leadership is not a look at me type of a leadership at all. I also want to encourage you to pray before you go and find your mentor. Ask God to guide your steps and bring the right mentor or mentee into your life, depending on what season you're in. I personally think we should always have a mentor and be mentoring personally, because you're always ahead of somebody and you could always use the wisdom and guidance from somebody who's ahead of you. So I always think both of those relationships should be prominent in your life. So I know for me personally, there's a lot of women that I'm currently mentoring and it's really satisfying, but then I have Michelle as my mentor. You need both. You need both. And when it comes to our next generation, mentorship is going to be a huge role. It's a huge necessity that we have. because we have the privilege of giving practical knowledge, but also nurturing the spiritual and emotional well-being of those we mentor. I think about my late teens, early 20s, right? Before I was a Christian, before I had good mentorship in my life. And I just think about how radically different my life could have looked and some of the choices I could have made, and just how different things would be if I had had a good, godly mentor. And so by being that for somebody else, we get to create a safe space for this next generation to share their challenges and their fears and to be vulnerable. I just did an episode on vulnerability, and so check that out. But we get to offer them guidance and support through a Christ-centered lens. Galatians 6:2 says, carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. And so by walking alongside these young leaders, we get to help them navigate the complexities of their role. We get to encourage them to seek God and to rely on His strength. And then again, I want you to remember, mentorship is a two-way street. As we pour into the lives of others, we also receive valuable lessons and insights. Every mentorship opportunity that I've ever had has been a lesson in growth, in humility, in empathy, in compassion. And we have this beautiful privilege of witnessing the transformative work of God in the lives of those we mentor. I know I just had this experience. I was teaching something in the biblical leadership program, and I've taken it before, and with Michelle, and she said this thing, and she always got very emotional when she talked about it and showed this clip. And I was like, yeah, I get it. I felt it. But when I taught it and I watched the impact it had on the women I was mentoring, and when I was looking at each of them, I wasn't watching the clip, I was watching each of them and listening to the words, I'm just seeing their potential and their leadership. I was also bawling my eyes out, right? Because it's so different when we're pouring into the next generation. And so I really want you to be intentional about finding mentors who reflect Christ's love. And may we in turn be mentors who empower the next generation to lead with purpose and guided by God's truth. So I will see each of you next time, and I pray you have a blessed week. Thank you so much for listening to the Milk and Honey with Lemon podcast. I am so grateful you were here. I hope this episode has helped you move from feelings of doubt and uncertainty towards stepping confidently into your God-given leadership role, fully equipped with biblical wisdom. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a second to rate and review. Each review helps us to reach and inspire more Christian women leaders just like you. Don't forget to share your takeaways, post it on Instagram, tag me anywhere you're on social media, and I'll see you next week.